You. What up? All right. So we got another one from CMTOWN. Another one from CMTOWN. And this is drunk driving. Drunk driving. Don't drink and drive. Do not drink and drive. Hopefully they weren't drinking and driving. But I got a feeling this is one of their stories. All right, let's check it out. Here we go.
The coupe was sick. Remember that place?
Yeah, it was 24 hours.
Yeah, and then Obama ruined it.
Obama did ruin
Literally,
it.
Obama ruined it.
Fucking
What
piece
place?
of
She
shit.
showed up, and then they were like, well, we're not 24 hours anymore, and now the food sucks.
And it's more expensive.
It's more expensive.
One time me and Jamel went and had a lot of deviled eggs there. Deviled eggs and wings.
They used to give you animal crackers.
Mm-hmm.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Dude, they had
What
great
place?
deviled eggs. They had great wings.
Yeah.
I had great wings yesterday.
Their breakfast bowl was amazing.
I don't remember.
I
They had
remember
some-
that breakfast bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit was amazing.
It had
I loved going to Wonderland, getting trashed, and then going to Coop.
Falling asleep in your car.
Going to the Coop to eat that breakfast bowl.
It had
Being like, this
Damn.
is what life's about.
I remember your 50-50. Like, there was a coin flip chance whether you slept in your car that
Dude,
era of your life.
You
Yeah.
remember every single night just saying, Nick, sleep on my couch. I have an apartment. And you're like, I'm going to sleep in the car. And then you're like,
Damn.
yeah, I'm not going to drive. Don't worry. I'm not going to drive.
Yeah, that's true. It was 50-50. Is he in the car or not? And then within that 50%, is he going to try and drive drunk to Baltimore? Or is he going to sleep? Is he going to sleep?
I didn't. I mean, to be completely fair, most of the time I did not actually drive drunk, and then one time I did, and well, I mean, multiple times I did. But that was because it was gotten to a point because I guess I drove drunk in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's drunk driving is such a weird thing because I feel like it's a thing a lot of people that do, and you shouldn't do it.
Of course.
I got to stop.
Yeah.
But then some
You still
people
do it?
I've been doing it.
some people, yeah.
What?
Some
Nah, I'm
people,
over. Those-
some
my days
people
are over.
never do it, and they treat it like they treat it like it's this fucking like this horrific thing that you could do to drive drunk. Like they get really heated over the idea of somebody driving drunk.
I kind of
It's
get
like-
where they're coming
and
from.
I get where they're coming from, but it's also too. It's like it's such a thing that. Because it's negligence. It's not like I'm going to drive drunk and run over a child. You know, I mean, like nobody's planning that, and it's not like very few people sober make the decision to drive drunk. What happens is you get trashed, and then you're making all kinds of bad decisions.
Yeah.
Only one of them happens to be driving.
That's a really good
Honestly, and this
motherfucking
is going to
point.
sound pretty stupid, but it's very easy to drive drunk in New York City.
Yeah,
Because you never go over like 20 miles an hour. It's all surface
A
streets.
lot of stops.
Yeah, a lot of stops.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
harder.
always find it harder to drive high because when you're high, you want to get in a nice
In
rhythm.
high school, everyone.
Yeah.
I drove blazed
driving
out of my
everyone was
when I
like-
smoked weed. When I smoked weed, I was a much worse driver. I would just blow through red lights
so
constantly.
much
Yeah,
harder.
yeah.
And I'd be like, dude, what is red?
You're
It's
an
just
idiot
all
then.
perception,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, in high school, everyone was like, "Yeah, it's like a fucking video game, dude. It's like Mario Kart. It's so hard.
It's
to
so
drive
much
high."
worse. I don't know that it's worse, but honestly, I have not. I've probably driven drunk. I don't know, 3 or 4 times my whole life.
I
to
drove
be-
on
to be honest.
mushrooms pretty recently, and
Respect.
I got a speeding camera ticket.
Oh. Most of that was in high school, by the way.
Yeah.
Driving drunk.
Oh, I've been bringing it back, dude. Mid-30s.
Yeah, well, I remember when I started comedy, I feel like because they were all adults, they all drove drunk.
Yeah,
It's
They
kind
all
of like
drove drunk
My
constantly, and then, but yeah, no, I mean, I guess the analogy I was going to use is like, did you ever meet people as a teenager, and it would have to be in your early teens, like, because you discover beating off when you're like,
sure.
and in your mind, this is this secret world. You want to talk about boys' clubs? All the bullshit women say about like, well, boys are socialized to be funny in school, and that's why they get into comedy. And it's
Yeah.
like, that's shut up.
What?
But
it's true.
beating off,
Little fat boys are. I'll put
Beating
it that way.
off
I had no choice.
beating off, that is something that.
We're socialized to do.
Well, I feel like that's something because girls aren't like 12-year-old girls aren't like because they need like dildos and the machines,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
all
They
this
need
other
a fuck machine. They
Right.
need to be choking themselves.
Yeah.
Literally, a
They need
12-year-old
a-
boy needs nothing more than like a placard for like a breast cancer self-exam.
Yeah, oh, dude.
And then
That would be huge.
and then
Let's go.
You're
I'm ready
like
to beat off right
you're
now.
like Saul Starr showing up in Deadwood, ready to set up business with a couple of shovels. You're like, I'm out here to beat off in this new frontier of life.
Yep.
And
So you're saying little girls should talk to each other about flicking their pussies?
I mean, whatever they want to do.
Very
I don't give a fuck.
sex-causing.
In fact, I don't want to give them anything. In fact, I want to keep more stuff for the
For
guys.
us, for the boys?
Yeah, they should all have to go into
Jesus.
political science.
Mm.
This thing where people are like, oh, if women ran the country, it's like, let them. I would love it if I was staying home jacking off and you had to pay me to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's
That's
flip the
so
script.
true.
On the company dime.
We're now we got OnlyFans, but it's not gay. It's guys getting together like they used to back
When
in
they
the
were
day.
children,
And they're
jacking off in
beating
the same
on,
room.
on cam.
But this time
But
on
it's
cam.
also Twitch and OnlyFans merge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a
And you
Halo.
take turns to playing Halo and
You're
jacking
playing
off.
Halo and jacking off.
And you get paid $100,000 a month.
You get
for
paid
it.
$91,000 a month,
That's a reasonable amount.
and that's what you should get for being an artist or whatever.
Yep.
But anyways, I was saying, so did you ever meet anybody when you were like 12, 13? Because in your mind, everyone's, you're like, Jack, like go home from school, beat off the pornography. Did you ever meet anybody that's like beating off?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Religious kids.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, your mind is blown that they could
Like,
even
you
be.
Don't beat off.
And that's how I feel about drunk driving, where it's like I can understand if you don't do it, but then the people that are like, how dare you?
Right.
It's like, well, I don't.
It's as natural as masturbating at 13.
It is.
Drunk driving.
Yeah,
I
no,
think that's a good analogy.
I'd say so. Well, I guess just mostly the like the like moral objection.
I think
from
more
people.
it's an outdated thing. It's like
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Beating
dropping.
off? Oh,
no.
Driving drunk.
Yeah. It's like how you let slurs.
Well, you
fly.
also say that as somebody that lives in New York City, where there's like really no reason to drive.
That's
drunk.
a great point. Yeah, I could Uber wherever the fuck I want. If I lived, even Baltimore isn't that bad. But
Yeah,
if you
and
live
even,
in the
even
fucking
now,
sticks.
even now with like Uber, it's like fucking like Austin, like 15 years ago,
That's true.
you couldn't fucking walk anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could walk downtown, but if you're drinking in the cool spots like I did up in fucking Round Rock,
Right.
I go find the real cool bars.
Round Rock.
Texas Bar and Grill.
Can
Can you imagine having a place, called Texas Bar and Grill in Texas?
Yeah.
Tea
that's-
bags.
That sounds awesome.
I'm not sure if any of them should have licenses. Oh, shit. Oh, my goodness. I'm not sure if Nick should have a license. But I mean, shit, it will be hard. It'd be very difficult not to drink and drive if you live in your car. Like, I mean, shit. If you live in your car, it's hard to not to drink in your crib. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I understand that. That's like if you had a mobile home, it'd be hard to drink and drive. Any vehicle you live in, I think you can get stopped for DUI. If you're driving a motorcycle, if you're on a bike, probably. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. On those nights, Adam probably should just sleep on, or not Adam, Nick should probably just sleep on Adam's couch. Rather than risk it. I mean, Jesus. But yeah. The masturbation, I mean, I don't think I've had like conversations with other people about my masturbation habits growing up. I think I kept that pretty much to myself, you know what I'm saying? I discovered it on my own. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't take much. He's right. Nick's right. It didn't take much at first. You didn't need much at first, 12, 13 years old around me, and especially back then for me, and that's like in the 90s. You're talking about, there's no magazines. Like that's what I was. Magazines and TV when it came on. Like shit. That's all I had. But yeah, do not listen to Nick. Do not listen to Stavros, and do not listen to Adam. Do not drink and drive. Whatever you do, I don't care if you're in New York. Adam said it's not that hard to drink and drive in New York. You got a lot of stop signs and you got a lot of potholes. That makes it more difficult. Like Jesus, my goodness, they got shit backwards. They got shit backwards.